This is the Intel on this Sunday afternoon here on eNCA. One other interview that I want to mention to you very quickly. I'll be speaking to Professor James Grant at about just after 3:30. We'll be talking about that judgment of the High Court Division in the Eastern Cape, penned by Acting Judge Thembeka Ngcukaitobi, that has to do with the issue of consent in matters of rape. It's been a controversial, is not an overstatement of the case. It's been controversial. Views differ vastly about what the implications of that judgment are. So Professor James Grant will come through and weigh in on that judgment. It simply has to do with the question of whether or not this particular complainant in this matter had consented to penetrative sex. The issue of foreplay, to what extent does it feature in questions of consent, tacit consent versus express consent. Yeah, it's one of those topics that we've got to tackle, and Professor James Grant will join me just after 3:30. Well, to this now, it's not often that you find 4 family members contesting to be councillor of the same ward under different political parties. The 4 Ntabeni brothers are Loyiso, who will be representing the EFF, Vuyani, who is an independent candidate, Siphamandla from the ANC, and Luyolo, who will be contesting under the AIC. All of them contesting for the position of ward councillor in Ward 10 in Matatiele. And needless to say, it's got us all fascinated and intrigued. Earlier on, I spoke to 3 of the 4 brothers, and this is how the conversation started. I started with Siphamandla Ntabeni, and I asked him, how did we end up with this situation?
This is an indication for a growth yet democracy, in particular Ward 10. And one would remember that sikule democracy esikuyo namhlanje, of course the political party eya contributor i-African National Congress mandiwathatha amandla ke umkhulu wanje bendinikeza into bana mandiqale uqala ndiyabulela kakhulu. No, I don't think the African National Congress iphakula ward isengxakini Thulasizwe Simelane, because do you remember there was a time when the African National Congress was conducting the community meetings. I was voted by 364 voters from different VDs, about 7 of them, which is Ncome and Tabas Jongene, Makata SSS, Makata JSS, Sijoga SSS, Mahlubi, and in Zondwe. So it was democratically, I was democratically elected, my dear brother. So I enjoy majority, or my political party, African National Congress, enjoys majority in that ward. And the African National Congress has done a very good job in that particular ward. And abantu bayithemba kakhulu, not that bayithemba kuba mhlawumbe yenze izinto ezinhle zodwa. Yes, zikhona ne-mistakes ezenzekile along the way, but they still believe in the ANC, and they still trust the African National Congress. So they are willing to trust the ANC in this coming 5-year term. So of which now the advantage for them, they have chosen their own son, Siphamandla Ntabeni, the one ozalwe pha, wakhulelwa pha, wakhuliselwa pha. So we understand the issues as a service delivery in that ward. If I may be specific, Thulasizwe Simelane, for an example, there is a village, ANC says pa, uba ikona challenge service delivery umzekelo ngamanzi. Xa usiye eCaba kunendlela pa, and which is eyona project eserious enkulu. Matatiele local municipality seyikhona kwi-IDP azange kwenziwa ndlela pa since 1994, but i-ANC seyinotisile lonto, and ikwi-process as we speak. When you go to Mdeni kwelacala kune problem yamanzi, akhona wona amanzi, but kukhona nje i-touch-ups ekufuneka zenziwe. i-ANC urhulumente okhokhelwe i-ANC so inotisile lonto. Then nakwalunda khona izikhalazo ze-RDP houses komagqunqulweni, bacela in fact ezo zikhalazo zizicelo nje, bacela nje abantu kwi-ANC i-RDP houses.
But Mashia, when will those things be resolved? Because it's the people who are suffering, and yet when you are explaining here, Uguti, these are the challenges. You know the challenges, but why don't you resolve the challenges? I'm sorry to interject.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's a conversation. Oh. So a question back to you then. When will those things be resolved?
Thank you very much. As soon as ndixokiwe, then some of the challenges, the service delivery, as immediately after first is November, ward councillor. Then, Simelane, I promise you, in that ward, I zubai ward only at Municipal in terms of outsourcing funding to fast track the service delivery issues. We will be working very close with the provincial government, national government, as well as the investors, because I've got the system that I want to introduce mostly in that particular ward, which is the public-private partnership, because of course government alone, it can take him more than maybe 10 years to address all the service delivery challenges in that particular ward. But together we can, as per the instruction by the Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa. That I would thank you.
Let me bring in Luyolo and Ntabeni into this conversation. I don't know how much you've heard of the conversation, Mr. Ntabeni. I started by asking why it is that we find ourselves in a situation where 4 members of the same family are contesting for this position, the ward in Ward 10 in Matatiele. So what's your understanding, and from what you've heard from the representative in the family who comes from the ANC, what are the reasons why you are contesting not under the ANC but as AIC?
Hello, Mr. Simelane.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. Good day to the viewers and listeners in South Africa as a whole. Yeah, Mr. Simelane, there's no dispute at all in contesting this word as family brothers also. It's just that this is a democratic country. It's whereby I know we grew up together. Otherwise, politically, we were different as well in a democratic country. It's just that as part of AIC, AIC was formed after so many problems that is ending up in Matatiele, if I still remember that clearly. But no, in terms of it was a service delivery. Nazo zonke izinto other parties akhona abayenzayo more especially into edeveloping part as uvuyani besikevele eshilo oba sebezisolvele na Siphamandla zonke izinto ngabe benazo ngoba bebevele bezazi ngabo bebevele beleader nabo masipala kodwa ke uAIC ke ngoku ube nento ethi make ndiyomela lawathi as a candidate, not to say I'm contesting my fellow brothers anyway. It's just that it's a matter of a democracy.
All right, there seems to be a bit of
the branches or that will be part of it. Come again, please. Can hear you clearly?
I think there's a bit of a network challenge. We'll come back to you in just a moment, Luyolo. Vuyani Ntabeni, let me ask you to unmute yourself on your side as I throw this question to you. So you earlier on were asking Siphamandla why it is that the issues have not been addressed. Why is the ANC not an option for you and the other political parties? Your other brother is contesting under the EFF. He's not part of this conversation with us at the moment. And the other brother is from the AIC. Why do you believe that the only solution is not the ANC, not any of the political parties, but to run as an independent?
Thank you for the question, Thulasizwe. What I can tell you is that I'm a fully fledged understanding politician. I was raised under the banner of politicians. I mean, I've been a member of the PAC before in my young life. because they failed to transform. As the country is changing, and then you have to change with the mode. And then I joined the ANC. I've worked for the ANC. I've worked in different structures of the ANC, but the ANC that we see today is no longer the ANC that we knew before. It has changed. It has really changed, and I've got evidence in that regard. My brother's party, AIC, it also came out of ANC because people were dissatisfied how the ANC is being run. Now you see mushrooming of individual candidates. It's because the people are not satisfied. I am here not by myself, but I've been asked by the community that I live in that they are no longer happy and they don't trust anybody's anymore. They want an individual candidate who is going to take a mandate from them directly and go and deliver it to the council. Yeah. And come back with a report saying what has happened in the council. So it's a matter of communication between myself and my voters, as well as myself and the council.
Yeah. So let me try and bring in Luyolo and Ntabeni again. Let's hope the network is better this time around. So Luyolo, why the AIC? Why not the other political parties? Why not the ANC, for example?
It's just that we know that this is a participatory democracy. Everyone has a right to go wherever he wants or she wants anyway. Ever since usenzeka zonke izinto, I'm worried about my brother as Vuyani as a independent. Naye xa sengigqibile nami uthi ngingene kwamasipala next month. Few weeks anyway, I think it's less than 2 weeks. Elections. Kuyafuneka naye ngimbizele uba makazongena ekhaya in order to broader knowledge le akanayo. But I'm worried indaba yokuba as an individual anyway, uzazisa kanjani inkonzo yena ngathi ngasavela suke ngapha naye unasi komhlekazi ngoba uyabona uSipha uyabona ngoba otherwise ANC has failed the people. I think it's more than 26 years now, 25 years, 26 years now. Otherwise, AIC has promised the people to go through and with other issues related to service delivery around Matatiele, and then it's just that AIC ube khona futhi nento ethi enguye nje uzama uthi athi do away indaba ze district municipalities ezingazange zenzeke nto, which is I'm not sure what the district municipality was around Matatiele, including the issue rates. Rates is more than tripled if we look at the issue of the ratepayers. They are complaining day by day in related to the matter of the way they are paying.
But now, Luyolo, you've been governing with the ANC. What changes have you made as an AIC? Because you are all in the same council. Now, I've never been in the same in any council for that matter. Where now, as a candidate, AIC, what has AIC done to improve the lives of the people? Because you are all there colluding with the ANC. Okay, you may not be colluding, but you are all governing. You are there. You have a seat. Am I wrong? What changes have you brought?
I can answer this also, brother. I am the Vuyani. AIC was not even in the municipality as leading that municipality or wherever, even in the legislature. is one of the opposition party. Otherwise, among the other decisions, the majority to benefit anyway. So AIC, otherwise, it's a opposition party. Not to say we were there in the municipalities, maybe where we can take the decision.
What I'm trying to ask, Mashea, what influence did you give to the ruling party in order to get a feedback and manage izinto zasekuhlaleni? What have you done when to influence them as a ruling party?
Otherwise, there are some standing committees within that municipality. So I can't say if the standing committee is taking the decisions whereby I will go straight maybe in order to interrupt them anyway. If they took the decisions, these people from the ruling party, they took it already. Instead, if you are just opposing them, they just say you can go maybe in the rule of law. But unfortunately, AIC is a small party. It's a small party than other parties. And AIC usakhula in a way. Angeka kwazi ukumelelana nezinye izinto so far. But after this, kungona qala ukumelelana nezinye challenge lesoloko senze ngoba masipala. That's why
Mamela Mashi, I'm sorry to interject, ne? I'm an individual, but I think I have more power than you as an opposing party. I will even have more power than the ruling party, because the power to the people is given to me to indulge with mandate here.
Yeah, and you can imagine dinner at that family, right? And family gatherings, family meetings, etc., etc. If the issue of politics should come up, you can only imagine how robust that conversation gets.